Now we have implemented the login functionality and we are able to send the login request with the valid credentials, and in the end here we are seeing this success response is triggering this redirection on the homepage. But currently we don't see any changes on layout and we don't know if we are logged in or not. So let's update the layout when the login is success. So instead of having the sign up and login on the navigation bar, let's display another link for user profile. For this scenario, we will be interacting with different components like the login page and the navigation bar we have here. And the parent of all these components is the app component itself. So we are going to add our test to app. So let's start with that test, opening the app spec. So we have this login describe part here, and in this one we are logging in to this application, and here we are having the server to return the login success. Instead of defining that one right here, let's cut this one and just pasting into this server part here. We have this setup server and we define a couple of endpoints here, and just like them, let's add the authentication endpoint here. So we don't need to define the path in this test. And in the next test, again, we are going to be filling the form and clicking the button, and in the end we will be checking this homepage visibility to make sure the login is successful. So instead of repeating the steps in the next test, first let's extract this part to a setup function, and let's call this one as setup logged in. So in this one we will be doing these steps, calling the setup function to render the page at the login URL, querying the elements, filling the form, and that's it. Now we can just await setup logged in. Now we are going to add our next test, just copying the last test here and pasting here. In this one it hides login and sign up links from Navbar after successful login. So we are calling the setup logged in, and this is clicking the button, and here we are waiting for the home page to appear. Now we are not going to assert the page, this page to be visible. All we need to do is just wait for that home page redirection, and at this point we are going to get the, let's say, the login link. We get it by screen query by role, and that is a link, and the text is login. And let's also query the sign up link, and this one is sign up, and we expect this login link not to be in the document, and also same thing for the sign up link. So we are expecting both the login link and sign up link not to be in the document. Saving this test. So this one is failing because the login link is there and also sign up link is there. Now we are going to fix this one. And we are going to show these links conditionally. So if the user is logged in, then we will not show these two. So we must be storing this logged in information somewhere in our application. So far we are conditionally hiding some parts, like in the sign up page. We are conditionally showing this part. For instance, this is the success case, and we have this form visibility. So we are doing this conditional show hide parts in our application, but all of them are happening within the component itself. But the login information is not only related to the, for instance, the login page, but also it is required in this navigation bar. So we need to have a global state management for our application. And with this way, login page will be setting the state, that global state, and the navigation bar will be updated based on that. And for this one, we are going to use Vuex. And we are going to use the next version because we are using the Vue 3. So let's install this dependency first. Here we will be calling this one, npm install vuex at next. So just stopping this test console and pasting the npm install command. Now let's run the test once again. And since we installed a new dependency, let's start the application. To use newly installed dependencies, we need to stop and start the application. The application is running. Now let's use Vuex, and we are going to use this one just like the other plugins we have used in our application. We will do that right here in the main.js. And the first thing is we are going to import a function from Vuex, and the function is create store. So we are going to have a store object, and we are going to create it via this create store, and the store is taking options, and this options is having a function of state, and this state, just like the data of the component, it is returning back an object, and this object is containing the state values we need to store. So for instance, we will be keeping track of the user logged in condition with this field is logged in, and let's say initially this is false. Now we have this store, and just like using the router or i18n, we use this store here. So saving this one. So from application point of view, nothing is changed. Now we are going to update the store. So this is logged in will be true. We are going to change this value from false to true after the successful login. So in login page, here in this method of submit, we are sending our request to backend, and here we are waiting for the success response, and in the end we are navigating back to home page. But other than that, now just like accessing to the router, now we can access to this store. Now we are going to change the store value, and we do that by executing a mutation, and we call mutations like this. We call commit. The mutation is actually a function, and we pass the function name login success. So this is a function name I'm just choosing. You can go with the way you like. So we are going to have this function in the store, and this function is right here. So this create store is not just having this state, but also it has mutations, and this mutations is containing the functions. So the function we are calling is this one, login success. So we will have this login success here. So this is a function. And when we call the commit for this function, the Vuex will be calling this login success with the the last state value, and initially the value will be this one. So we can mutate this state. So we can say this state is logged in will be true. So let's save these changes. So this is not fixing our test, but let's try this one on browser. But first, let's open DevTools. So here in the Vue Developer Tools, now under these components, we have this Vuex. And in the Vuex, we have the state is logged in false. Now let's go to login page and let's fill the form with an existing user, user1@mail.com, password. Now sending the request, and here we can see this is logged in is changed to true. So we are able to update the Vuex state from the login page. Now we are going to use this information, this is logged in the navigation bar. And let's do that. Here in the app, we have these links for the sign up and the login. Now we are going to display them conditionally, and we can use if, and here we are going to access to the store, and we can access to a store like this, and this store has state, and the state is representing this one, and it has this is logged in. So this link will be visible when the is logged in is false. When we are not logged in, we will be displaying the sign up. And doing the same thing for the login. So let's save this one. And here on browser, we can see those links are gone. So if we again open the DevTools, and if we just toggle this value right here, we switched it from true to false, and the links are here. And if we again set it to true, it is hiding the links. So we have verified the state is properly working and the navigation bar is properly hiding that links, but our tests are failing. So let's fix them. We are having a new plugin here, but in the test we are not using that one, so this is breaking our test. So the first thing is, let's extract this store part from this main, and let's create a new folder here in the src, creating a new folder, and let's name it state, and under that one let's have a new file, store.js, and just cutting this part, pasting here, and let's export this store from this module. And in main we can just get the store from state store module. So we have the store here, and we are using that store here. So we extracted the store. Now we can use this store plugin here in the app. So first thing is, let's import store from state store, and let's update the setup here, just like i18n and router, we will have store here. So saving this one, and now we can see all tests are passing. Now instead of having this links, sign up and login, let's display a link for my profile. So let's copy this one again. So we are going to be displays my profile link on Navbar after successful login. So we are going to get a new link, my profile link, and this link will have the text of my profile, and we will be checking this my profile link to be in the document. So saving this one. So this one is failing because we don't have the link yet. So let's fix it. Here in this list, we are showing the sign up and login based on this store value, and just like that one, just copying this the login link and pasting here. And for now, let's have this 2 like this. Now, if store state is logged in true, we are going to display this part, and this is going to be having the text of my profile. Saving it. So the tests are passing, and if we test it like this, if we just toggle the is logged in from this Vuex, here we can see my profile link is visible. Now, when we click this my profile, we expect it to open this user's page. So just like clicking these, so this one is redirecting to this user/1, and when we click to this one, it must be opening that logged in users page with the user/that user's ID. So let's add a new test for this one. So let's copy this test, pasting here, and it displays user page for the logged in user after clicking my profile link. So we are going to click to this user event, click my profile link. Then this is going to be opening that user's page. So let's wait until that page is opened. So we are going to wait for user page to be visible. And now this login is for user 5, and from backend, when we are successfully logging in, we are just receiving the username user 5. But now we need to know the user's ID so that we can use that ID in the link of my profile. So this is going to be returning both the ID and the username. So the ID will be, let's say, 5. So we are filling the form for user 5. It is returning back the user 5 ID. So we are clicking the my profile link. It is opening the user page. Now we need to see, so when we click to, let's say, user 2 here, we are seeing user 2 is visible right here. So let's query that one. So we are going to be looking for a header, this one, to be visible, and this is going to be displayed after that user is loaded. So this one is going to be triggering this API call, and it is going to be handled in this one. We are getting that user's data. So this one is returning 200, okay, and when we call this one with the user 5, it's going to be returning user 5, the username, email, and the image. So we are going to be waiting for find by role. We are looking for a header, so we use heading role, and the text will be having user 5. And let's have this header here, and we expect this header to be in the document. So saving this one. So this one is failing because currently this URL, this link is not pointing to the user's page. We are going to have a link like this. So it's going to be user / and that user's ID. And we are going to get that user's ID from store again. So let's have this string concatenation like this. We are going to get store state, and currently we don't have this value in state yet. Currently the state is having only this is logged in. So if we check the store.js, it is having only this one is logged in. But we will be adding new fields. So other than this is logged in, we will be having that user's ID. So we are going to use that ID here to create the link. Now we need to store that user's ID. And here in the login page, when we receive a login success response, that response is containing that user's ID. So let's assign it to a variable here. And from this response, so response data is the response body we are receiving from backend, and in that one we have that ID field. So we are going to mutate the store by passing this information to it. So we are going to call this login success, but also we are going to pass data to it, and the data we are passing is the ID of that username, of that logged in username. So when this login success is called, it's not just going to take the state parameter, but also it's going to be taking a second parameter, this one we are passing here. And let's call this one as, let's say, ID. And we can just directly set state ID as this ID. Right here, we are doing this assignment like this. There is user and this user ID, but we need to use the bind syntax right here to do this operation. So saving all these changes, and the tests are passing. Now let's test this one on browser. So let's go to login page. Here, filling the form with the, let's say, user3@mail.com password. Now clicking the login. Now this state is only having this is logged in false, but after the login success, we are going to take this user's ID from backend, and this state will also be containing that part other than this is logged in, and is logged in is going to be true. And here we have this is true, and this is that user's ID. And here in my profile link, when I click to this one, the page is redirected to this user3, and that user's information is loaded from backend, and it is displayed right here. So with this way, we introduced the Vuex into our application, and we are handling this login state management in the application with this way.